Hello my dear friends, a very warm welcome to all of you to our 14 days SQL-PRO challenge. Today we are going to see something very interesting. Till now what we have learned, so we have learned how to make tables and store data permanently as well as temporarily for that session, for that query. We also have learned in the form of views, temporary tables, derived tables, CTE. Now we are going to learn how to store a procedure. Now what is this? So yes, the concept that we are going to cover today is a stored procedure, and it is basically, this is basically a procedure. Okay, a procedure means a series of steps that we simply store in our database. Okay, it is a procedure, series of steps that we store. Now what this procedure does, so this procedure, okay, this procedure, which is made up of several steps, it will bring us a result. It can be in a tabular form, okay, it can bring us a simple table, or it can insert any data, it can update any data. This procedure can insert any data, update any data, delete any data, as well as it can bring the result as per our input. Whatever input we will give, it will display the result accordingly. Okay, so now we will learn how to create such procedures and how to store these procedures, right? Fine. Before moving to the coding part, let's understand it with one example. Now, suppose you want to see order details of any particular customer. Okay, ID, a customer ID can be anything. You simply want to say that show the order details of this customer ID. You don't want to write any code, any logic, nothing. You simply want to say that we instruct our AI, like we say, hey Siri, give the order details of customer ID 101. Hey Siri, give the order details of customer ID 104. Like this we instruct. So we want to simply instruct our SQL as well in this manner. So how can we do it? First of all, we have to learn how to create the procedure. All right, so just a second. The method of creating a procedure, stored procedure, is firstly we have to simply write delimiter this. It means that treat this as a end. Okay, in the usual code we treat this colon as a end, but while creating the procedure we are instructing SQL that you have to treat these two slashes as end. So firstly we have to write this line. Now we simply have to write create procedure and then give the name of this procedure. And after that, we have to provide the input values here, whatever input we are going to give in the future. So suppose we want the data for several customers. So it means our input will be customer ID. So we have to mention the input here. We have to write in means input, and then the name of that input that we are going to provide. So suppose we will provide customer ID as an input. So we'll write here customer ID, and the data type of that input also we have to mention. Right, after that the steps start. So we have to write begin, and then we have to simply select the columns that we want. So to get the order details of any customer, it must have order ID, order date, and the amount. Right, these things we will select from table. Where, in the where we will write the condition. So here we will simply write where customer ID is equal to this cust ID that we are giving as input. This is it. And at last, once we have written all the steps, we have to write end. Means now you can consider it as the end of this procedure, right? And in the very last line, we have to mention delimiter. This is it. This is the way how we can create the procedure. Now, whenever there is a need to see the order details of any customer ID, suppose we want to see the order details of customer ID 103, then we simply have to write call the name of this procedure and inside the bracket 103. This is it. It will give you the whole data, whole order detail of that customer ID. So this is the beauty of this create procedure. You can simply call it as per your need. You can update anything, you can delete anything, whatever you want. You simply have to set the procedure and then save it. Okay, now see some queries and it will be more clear that how to create a stored procedure and how can we call it. Okay, so now let's create our first procedure, and it is to see the order details, or simply to see the orders for a specific customer, right? Now for that, firstly we have to mention delimiter. Okay, now write create procedure. Now give the name of this procedure. So let's give it order by customers, right? Now give the input. So for that we have to write in and the cust id as an input and the data type of this input. Now we are beginning this, so let's write begin. Select all columns from the orders where, okay, customer id is equal to cust id, means where customer id is equal to the id that we are providing as input. Now this is the end of this procedure, and this is the formality how we end our usual code with this delimiter. Correct? Here it will be a space. Now let's run it. Now in the output section here you can see the green tick, it means the procedure has successfully been created. Now if you want to check where it is stored, so you have to refresh from here, and then here you can see it is written stored procedure, and in our stored procedure our first procedure is created, the spelling is wrong. So order by customer we have created. Now suppose we want to see the orders for the customer and take any customer. Let's take customer 6 whose id is 6. So we simply have to write call and then we have to mention the name of that procedure. So copy it and paste it, okay, and in the parenthesis we have to provide the input only, which is customer id here. This is it, colon, and then run this. So here you can see the order data of this customer. He has placed this order id 50430, right? Now suppose you want to see these order details for customer whose id is 30. So you simply have to mention 30 here and run it, and here you can see the all the orders that is placed by this customer whose id is 30, right? So what we did, we simply saved the steps to get these order details, right? Now see one more query, and here we want to see the customers in a specific city. Okay, it means we want to see the data of the customers that belong to Mumbai city, that belong to Delhi city, right? And we don't want to write the set of codes again and again. We simply want to create a procedure and then we will save it. So how can we see the customers of any particular city? For that, we firstly have to write delimiter. That now you have to consider these two slashes as an end of this procedure. Now create procedure and give the name. So I'm giving it as customer by city. Now give the input. So in input I am giving city name. It means we have to provide the city name as an input, and the data type of this input is 50, right? Now how to create this procedure? What are the steps of this procedure? We are beginning from here. So for this, select all values from the customers where city is equal to the city name. Okay, this thing, the input thing. Now this is it. Now let's end it and put the usual delimiter, which is colon. And once you will run, after running you can see that your next procedure has also been created. Now let's call it. So call customer by city and give the input. So I am giving here Delhi. Now let's run it. So here you can check the data, the customers who are from the Delhi city. Here you can see all the customers from the city Delhi, right? Okay, now our second query, let's see one more example and then I will give you the task that you have to do. So here I am, okay, best selling menu items we want to check, suppose. Okay, so for that, suppose here you want to see top 3 best selling menu items, top 5 best selling menu items. Sometimes you want to see show top 10 best selling menu items. Okay, so you want to see this varying result. So for that we are going to create a procedure, and we simply will call that procedure and we will put the input as numbers like show 2 best selling. So we will put the number 2. After putting 2, we can see the top 2 best selling items. Again we will call the procedure and we want to see top 10 best selling. So we will give the input as 10, right? Now let's write it and then see. So first of all we have to write delimiter and create procedure, and the name of this procedure is best selling items. And in input we will provide a number. So this number can be limit number. Okay, its data type is integer. Now our steps going to begin. So in the steps we have to firstly select the item name from the menu table, and then we have to use the sum of quantity from the order details table, okay, as total sold. Then we have to mention the name of the tables. These requirements that you want to store in this procedure, these requirements will be given to you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, these requirements will be provided to you. I will also provide while giving the task. So it will be very clear to you that what you will have to create, right? So menu item M, and we have to join it with the order details table. OD on M dot item ID is equal to OD dot item ID. Guys, SQL is very interesting. You just need to do practice. This is it. Then after that, it will be a very interesting thing, you know, to write these codes to get the result. You will definitely love it once you will know the concept, once you will know how to apply everything. Trust me, you will love it. Now order by total sold in the descending manner, right? And the limit will be limit number that we will give in the input. Now end this procedure and apply the usual delimiter, which is colon. Fine. Now let's run it. Okay, so after running and refreshing, you can see your third procedure has also been created, which is best selling items. Now it's time to call it. So we simply have to write call and the name of this procedure, which is best selling items. Okay, now you want to see top 5 best selling items. So provide 5 as an input and run it. And after running here, you have your 5 top selling best items. Now you want to see top 4 best selling items or top 2 best selling items. So you already have created the steps to see the best selling items. You have stored these steps, okay, as a procedure. Now you are simply calling your procedure, and very easily now you are able to see your top 2, top 3 best selling items. So here you have your top 2 best selling items. So there is nothing difficult in the stored procedures. We simply have to create the steps by which we can get our result, okay, and then we have to store it as in a procedural form. So there is nothing difficult. It is very easy. So there is nothing difficult. We simply have to store the steps that are giving us a particular result in the stored procedure form. We have to save it. Now one thing that there are some times that you don't need to give the input. Okay, in such cases you can get the whole data as it is, right? Suppose while creating the procedure you haven't provided any input here. You simply have written it like this. Okay, so whenever you will call it, here also you will not provide any input. At that time it will give you the updated result as it is, right? Now, so in the PDF I will provide the 1 or 2 example of these procedures as well, where we are not providing any input. All right, so you will be able to see the examples of those as well. Okay, so take care guys, see you tomorrow. Till then, take care, keep practicing. Bye bye.